Love is such a beautiful thing. To love and to be loved is everyone's desire, because there's this feeling that you want to have a companion, you want to have someone you can share life with, and it's a beautiful privilege that a lot of us have, and some will definitely have. So, in the spirit of Valentine, today I'm going to be talking about one enemy of love in marriage, in relationships. I'm going to be delving into it because I've just been reflecting. It's Valentine. What do I share? And I started reflecting on my life, started reflecting on people I've seen around me, and I'm going to be talking about this enemy that just kills love, that affects lots of. I don't think there is any marriage or any relationship at any point in time that will not say they've had to deal with this particular issue, and that is busyness. Hello there, my name is Tolu Akinyemi. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time, thank you for stopping by. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get more videos, see more videos of me. And I share encouraging thoughts that can help women rise above limiting beliefs, change their mindset and perspective about situations, help them feel better about themselves, and to be everything that God has called them to be. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for stopping by again. All right, so today, in the spirit of Valentine, I'm sharing about love and something that I've observed to be an enemy of relationships and enemy of marriages, and that is busyness. We live in a world where the man, the woman, you have careers that you want to pursue, you have children who come into the mix. They are just different things. Like naturally, we wear many hats: the hat of a father, the hat of a husband, the hat of a son, the hat of a brother, of an employee, of an employer, of labor. There are so many hats that we wear. With the woman, the man, the woman wears the hat of a nurse in the home. She wears the hat of a teacher. She wears the hat of the accountant, the manager. She's an employee, or she's an employer. She's a boss. There's so many hats that we wear. And I wish I could say life gets easier, but somehow you just realize that your responsibilities keep increasing. It keeps increasing, and before you know it, you are so busy. Life gets busy, and it affects so many homes, so many relationships, in fact, I wish I could say it doesn't affect me too. And as I'm sharing this video, it's a message to myself as well, and a message to you who is listening to me. Busyness and how it affects our relationship, how it affects our marriage, because of the economy, or because of the way things are, or sometimes because we just have this desire to pursue something or to pursue a career path, or because of the way the economy is, it might be difficult for just one party to be working. We just realize that we just have to go delve into some partners are probably entrepreneurs and they are building, and you just realize that they keep building. They have to put in so much attention into what they are building so that it can grow. And sometimes a wife would ask herself, what have I gotten myself into? Or maybe because you like someone who has that drive, who is pursuing something. That's the life you have chosen for yourself, So these things are there. We can't ignore them, and it could take its toll on marriage. It could take its toll on our relationships, and that is what we'll be talking about today, because it's Valentine. Okay. So sometimes you see that when children come into the mix, you have school runs, you have some children will be involved in basketball, some football, some swimming classes, mathematics lesson, different things that we want our children to be involved in. And all of these things keep calling for attention. Before you know it, your spouse only gets the leftovers of you. You shop your best at work, shop your best everywhere, and then you come back home exhausted and drained, and all they have is the leftover versions of you. And that is the reality of a lot of homes. Love and hurry, love and haste, love and busyness, they are not compatible. They're not compatible at all, because love involves time. It takes time. It takes a lot of attention, a lot of investments for love to grow and to blossom. It takes a lot of time, and before you know it, business has a way of creating gaps discontentment and different things like that. So when you get busy, you realize that gradually different things start creeping in. You start feeling this neglect. It could be one or both of you that start feeling like you are being neglected. You no longer pay attention to the needs of your spouse. Sometimes it becomes what your spouse does becomes like an entitlement, not something you're even grateful for that they do for you. You become entitled, like, after all, I do this, so just do your job, just do your part. You start neglecting your spouse's needs, and gradually you start feeling a disconnect. Both of you are living in the same home, living under the same roof, but that disconnection is there, and you can tell that there's a disconnect. People don't just fall out of love all of a sudden. They don't just become strangers all of a sudden. It's gradual, and you can tell, because when things are all right, when both of you are fine, you know how the rapport is, you know how the intimacy gets. But when there's a disconnect, and it's gradual, it starts seeping in gradually. You're just at work, you're just here, and the reality of a lot of people is that you may not even get to see yourselves. Some don't even get to see themselves. How much more get to spend time together as a couple? You've gone to work, maybe husband is doing morning shift, wife is doing evening shift. So when the husband is at work in the morning, the wife can still take care of the child at some point. When the husband comes back, the wife leaves. Some don't even get to see themselves, and you spend more time with your colleagues at work than you spend at home, than you spend with your spouse and with your loved ones, those that truly matter. So you start seeing a disconnect with your spouse, disconnect from God as well. Because sometimes, when you feel like your relationship, your work with God is fine and everything, you have more time to fellowship, to worship, to study the Bible. But as time goes on, you just realize that it's almost like you're just praying on the go. You start praying in the car, oh Lord, I thank you. Just short prayers like that, just to keep up the appearance. And sometimes we just get into that, and it looks like we're just having a similitude of having a walk with God, just something that looks like it, but that thing is not really there. And when we start having that disconnect from God, you start complaining. It looks like everything else starts to become disjointed. You start complaining, you start feeling stressed, feeling stressed, and you won't be grateful. Ingratitude comes in because you can see all the problems. Everything is not right. All the problems are there. So that disconnect comes, and you're not able to be grateful for the little things, for the big things. You're not grateful anymore. So you just see that it's like a spiral. It's like you just keep going down, and it just gets to that point. And when you get so busy like that, what happens at the end of the day? You just realize that years down the line, you and your partner, you just look at each other. You don't know each other anymore. You become like strangers. So at the end of the day, children will grow, they will leave the home. Career, you will grow, you get to a particular level, and you just get to that point where it's just you and your spouse left, and then it just looks like you're with a total stranger. That means the glue that was holding your marriage together was that the children or the activities that you were all involved in that just surrounded every other person except for your spouse. That was the glue of your marriage. And then, I got to think about it. How is it that people who have been married for 25 years, they just get divorced like that? What happened? You just get divorced after so many years. You've grown together, you've raised children, you start feeling like, you've done a good job in raising your children. They do not live with separated parents and all of that. But at the end of the day, now that they've left the house, you just divorce. Or maybe the woman at that point is going through menopause and she starts having hormonal issues, here and there. She starts behaving funny, and they can't take it anymore. They can't tolerate each other, and they just decide that they are going their separate ways. And we are raising children. If children, all they see is activity, even if you think you have given them the privilege of living with two parents, they have only witnessed you with all the activities, not having a healthy, solid marriage, not seeing marriage models to them. the likelihood of them repeating that in their marriage is very high as well, because they learn by observing what they see around. So you just realize that you're just old, you don't know each other, they just get divorced. All these activities are no longer there. That's why I'm calling your attention to start thinking long term. Death has not come, so we are going to live together. We're not having a mindset that, at some point, if it doesn't work, we just walk out. No. But we should start thinking long term. There are lots of people, I've seen lots of couples lately some of them are still together because of a long-term illness. Some are sweethearts, like even in their old age, they are still so close, that bond is still there. And for some, they're just there, they couldn't care less. All these things, the results that we have later on, they don't just happen. They are things that we create by how we live our lives. That's why this is a call to pay attention to the long term. What's going to be the long term of you and your spouse after children, after all these activities, after everything has gone? What's going to be the long term result of it? So I would encourage that you start learning to say no to some things that can, just make you busy, unnecessarily busy, that you don't even have time for each other. Start saying no to some things. Some children will want to be involved in certain activities that they just feel, let's just do it. They just want to do some things because their friends are doing it. If you don't learn to say no to some of those things, you think about it in the long run, 5 years down the line, would they still be interested in that thing? Would it contribute to their success, their growth, or anything like that? And say no to some of those things so that you can spend time together with your spouse, spend time together as a family unit to build that level of intimacy. You'll be surprised that even busyness will not let you be able to have sex with your spouse. You try to have sex, but it's not just there. It just gets to a point where we're just living on auto drive. There's no deliberate effort to connect again, to have that intimacy, even physical intimacy. That thing is no more there. So you have to start learning to say no to some things. And secondly, relationship with God. You have to hold it tight, like your life depends on it, because really your life depends on it. In my personal life, I've seen that when I feel when it's like I'm in that space where I'm so connected to God and everything, things go right. My relationships with people can do things. I'm able to shrug it off quickly, forgive easily. Things seem to fall in place. For some reason, I just seem to have that capacity to handle it as it comes. But when things start looking like this, I'm just doing God on the go. Things start falling out of place. That's when I can't handle things. I'm getting overwhelmed. I'm getting stressed. My shoulders start paining me because it's just like there's so much weight on my shoulders. Whereas the Bible says, come unto me. Come to me. I will give you rest. So we must hold on to God like our life depends on it, because it's the glue that holds everything together, puts everything in place. So hold on to your relationship with God. Build it as a family, build it as an individual, because as you build it, you start getting more capacity. You have capacity to even love your spouse. The Holy Spirit can tell you things about them. You get capacity to love them even more. Love your children even more, because you can't give out of an empty container. It's out of what you have that you will give. And it's in God that we can find strength. It's in God that we can find relief. Because this adulting, it never gets, I don't want to sound negative, it never gets easier. It's just one thing or the responsibilities keep increasing. You just realize, how do I want to go about this? How this to do this, that to do this. We must hold on to God, because from Him we draw strength. We draw strength. We go in capacity to be able to handle things, to be able to delegate some things, to be able to do things. But most importantly, prioritize yourself as well. Prioritize yourself. Deliberately carve out time where you're just alone and rest. A stressed mom, I'm sure you know what a stressed mom can be like. A very cranky mom that's going everywhere, screaming at everybody. Everybody just has to behave themselves. When mommy is stressed, So we need to work on ourselves. Women, try to get a lot of rest. When you see that you are overreacting, get back in line with God. Deliberately take out time to rest. Say no to things that are not necessary, things that will just, occupy space and all of that. And between you and your spouse, you know what your relationship is like, you know what your dynamic is like. For some people, they are both entrepreneurs, they work together in the same business, so they are always together. For some people, they are in different career paths, different places, so your dynamics are different. You have to find out what works for you. I remember I have this doctor friend, husband and wife are doctors, and when they were still students, they had to find a way to just chat each other up because they're just busy. So if I send a message to you, when you're free, you see it, you respond to me, and it had a way of just creating that bond, that level of intimacy. So you understand your dynamics. You can find a way that works around it for both of you. Both of you can sit together and decide, how do we make this work? Because we need to prioritize ourselves. Once we see the need, prioritize it. It will help a lot. Find time to connect with each other, and I can't overemphasize this connection, because just imagine a man goes out, it's like he's in a battlefront, dealing with lots of things, different people, so much pressure. The woman, on the other hand, is dealing with pressures on her own, dealing with things on her own, and we should be able to come to a point where I can share my burden with you, you can share yours with me, you feel lighter, and it helps you create a deeper connection. It's almost like it helps you to sort of leave your world and be in your spouse's world. It helps to create that level of understanding, better intimacy. You understand what is going in each other's world. You can give each other perspective. Because sometimes women, they're just thinking in one way. If a man comes into the mix, he brings his own level of dynamic into it, helps you, gives you fresh perspective. The same, it's vice versa. And that helps to create intimacy. So find time to connect. Say no to things that are not necessary. Hold on to your relationship with God, because your life really depends on it. I hope that with the little things I've been able to share today, you can go back, think long term about your relationship with your spouse and how to make things better, how to not allow busyness kill your marriage, not allow it kill your relationship. I hope that this helps you. Till I see you next time. Bye for now.